Kia ora. In today's news, Social Development Minister Paula Bennett has announced an omnibus bill called the Vulnerable Children's Bill. Parents with serious abuse and neglect convictions will have to prove they're fit to look after their children again. The proposed reforms include extensive changes to the screening of state sector staff. Over 300,000 people who work with children will face much tighter scrutiny, such as pediatricians, teachers, civ social workers, children's counsellors and library reading group leaders. Ms. Bennett says the intention is not to tar people as being threats or guilty. Rather, she wants to set a high threshold to protect our children. And in related news, Child, Youth and Family are responding to a Christchurch school principal's concerns about a 10-year-old boy who has been placed in 9 different foster homes in just 3 weeks. A CIF spokesman says making the appropriate match between child and foster home is complex and can sometimes take several attempts. However, Linwood Primary's Gerard Doreen says there is increased fragility in post-quake Christchurch, and sometimes a child's immediate risks need to be addressed, not his long-term situation. Labour is claiming that money raised from the partial sale of state-owned energy companies will be used to give loyalty shares to local investors. MP Clayton Cosgrove says Treasury documents show that over $40 million from the sale of Mighty River Power will pay for the free bonus shares. He's accusing the Prime Minister of being two-faced for telling the public that that money would be used to build hospitals and schools instead. Strong winds, fresh snow and an icy surface are thought to have contributed to the deadly avalanche on the Remarkables. Jamie Vinton Boot died yesterday after he was swept 500 metres down the mountain. In some good news for Oharu MP Peter Dunn, his party has been re-registered. The Electoral Commission has agreed to restore United Future to the register of political parties from Thursday. However, the disgruntled MP plans to draft a members' bill that will allow online party membership subscriptions to be accepted and for a separate process to be followed when parties are deregistered. The latest international visitor survey shows that trans-Tasman visitors are still New Zealand's biggest tourist market, while China and the UK take second and third place. Data released by the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment show that Australian residents spent $1.6 billion here. Chinese visitors to New Zealand are spending more than they used to, while British visitors are spending less. Total visitor spending has remained steady at $5.5 billion. To the US, transgender students in California's state schools can now use whichever toilet or locker room they want. Democratic Governor Jerry Brown has signed a law which will also allow transgender students to choose whether they play boys' or girls' sports. Supporters of the legislation say it will help reduce bullying and discrimination, while opponents raise concern about invasion of privacy and sexual harassment. And finally, an early setback for the All Blacks Rugby Championship campaign, with Daniel Carter ruled out for up to a month with a calf injury. Aaron Cruden is expected to replace him in the starting lineup for Saturday's Bledisloe Cup test against the Wallabies. And that was your news for Tuesday the 13th of August. Ka kite anō.